with Gabby Logan.
Hello and a very warm welcome to you. Have you been at the sales? You could have been with us all afternoon on the red button. Never mind, here you are. We've got lots to tell you about. 3 o'clock Premier League kickoffs. And my guest today wouldn't be caught dead in the Christmas sales in Matt Holland's case because he'd rather be watching football, and in Steve Claridge's because he'd have to take his wallet out. We'll hear from them shortly. But let's fill you in on the scores and the scorers in the Premier League. And it has been a thrilling afternoon so far. Manchester City, they can go top tonight, and it looks like they are 4-0 at the moment there at Eastlands. No Tevez, no problem for City. Mario Balotelli's hat-trick has ensured Roberto Mancini's side are heading for the top at least until Manchester United's kick-off this evening. Stoke 0, Fulham 2. These sides in the bottom half of the table, but their recent form has been a good. Lee Hughes has scored his 9th goal of the season for the visitors to cancel out Stefan Zuber's opener. Sunderland 0, Blackpool 1. DJ Campbell's second half goal for Blackpool threatens to end Sunderland's unbeaten home record so far this season. Tottenham 1, Newcastle 0. Aaron Lennon with the goal for Spurs. They're poised to move into the top 4. West Brom 1, Blackburn 3. Blackburn's Nikola Kalinic has scored twice and been sent off at the Hawthorns. Let's head around the grounds, and we'll have to go to Eastlands first. Steve Lee, tell us all about what appears to be a very easy win it's looking like for Man City.
Well, that's certainly the story here. It's Man City 4, Villa 0, and Mario Balotelli may not like Manchester, according to the tabloids, but Manchester, certainly the blue half, very much like him. He's scored a hat-trick here against hapless Villa, 2 of them from the penalty spot, and Joleon Lescott scored the other one from a corner. City have run riot here with a side showing 5 changes from the one that beat Newcastle on Boxing Day. And if they win here, and I don't think anybody would bet against that at this stage, they will go top at least for a couple of hours until United play at Birmingham. And that will be an incredible psychological boost for Man City. They lead here 4-0. We could have more.
Let's go to White Hart Lane. There might only be 1 goal there, but David Garrido, there's been lots of argy-bargy, lots of handbags.
Oh, absolutely. This is a really feisty game, Gabby. Tottenham 1, Newcastle 0. Spurs ahead, courtesy of a blistering shot from Aaron Lennon. Inch perfect with a strike with the right boot. But moments later, they went down to 10 men after Yunus Kabul confronted Sheikh Tiote. They were head-to-head, quite literally, and Kabul jutted his towards Tiote. It wasn't a full-on headbutt, but enough to convince the referee to send Kabul off. So for the second game in succession, Spurs getting a red card. As a result, they've brought on Sebastian Bassong for Roman Pavlyuchenko, and Peter Crouch has also just joined matters coming on for Rafael van der Vaart. In the first half, Tim Krul pulled off 2 excellent saves, tipping a van der Vaart curler over the bar and then diverting Pavlyuchenko's header onto the post. For Newcastle, Andy Carroll headed onto the roof of the net. Tiote also forced a stop from Aurelio Gomez, and they now have 18 minutes plus stoppage time to try and make that numerical advantage count and find an equaliser. 10-man Spurs 1, Newcastle 0.
Thank you, David. Plenty of goals for Ivan Gaskell to tell you about at the Hawthorns.
Yes, and other controversy too. West Brom heading for a 7th defeat in 10 Premier League games. Blackburn's new manager Steve Keane on the verge of his first win, and a strange sort of game really. West Brom have played more of the football, but Blackburn have been more efficient in front of goal. They were often running early, Kalinic rolling past Carson, then West Brom levelled through Thomas, and West Brom appeared on the verge of taking control in the game. Then a forgettable 10 second half minutes for Scott Carson, the West Brom keeper. He almost gifted Kalinic and then failed to deal with 2 crosses. Kalinic again, and MB Diouf cashed in. 2 Kalinic moments there, but a day rather spoiled with a terrible tackle on Sean. He was rightly dismissed. West Brom have just gone awfully close again, but no cigar. They trail 3-1.
Fulham found themselves at the bottom 3 on Boxing Day with their defeat, but they look like they're fighting their way right out of it, Damien Johnson, at the Britannia Stadium.
Yeah, fractious and bad-tempered as the fog continues to roll in here. 2 first-half goals from Chris Baird have put Fulham on course for their first away victory in 27 games. 2 wonderful strikes from the edge of the area have also helped to ease some of the pressure on manager Mark Hughes. It's been all Stoke in the second half. Fuller and Tunchai on to bolster the forward line for Stoke as the ball is hoisted into the area again by Delat but cleared. Yet Fuller and Tunchai on to bolster the forward line, as I was saying, and the ball's back in the area again. It's never been out of the Fulham area in this half, but there's a free kick for an infringement there. They've had 2 appeals for penalties turned down of Stoke City for handball against Andy Johnson and Breida Hangel, and rightly so, in my view. Fulham fairly comfortable, even though it's all Stoke at this stage. Fulham lead 2-0.
Let's go to the Stadium of Light. Blackpool heading for a famous victory at the moment. Steve Sutton, any signs of a Sunderland comeback?
Well, they've just come close. Steve Malbranc just been on as a substitute. He took the place of Gian, who actually had a good opportunity earlier on in this second half. But Malbranc turning and shooting in one fluid move and a good diving save to his right from Richard Kingston to keep the ball out. Blackpool lead by the 1 goal of the game. DJ Campbell, soon after the restart, he emerged from a group of players into the box to get his foot to the ball first. All Sunderland in the first half, but Blackpool, well, could this be the classic smash and grab raid? Sunderland 0, Blackpool 1.
Yeah, they'd be doing what others couldn't do so far this season, and that's take 3 points at the Stadium of Light. It's been such an interesting afternoon. Manchester City's ease going past Aston Villa, is that about City's dominance, or is it about Villa looking incredibly poor?
Mixture of both, really. Obviously, Man City had a great Christmas, won at Newcastle. Today it's been very easy. Aston Villa defensively all over the show.
No Tevez, no Barry, no Milner.
I thought that might be a problem, particularly with Tevez, who's been their talisman over the last 18 months, him being out the side. But Balotelli's come in and scored a hat-trick, and you can't ask more than that. Little controversy over the Lescott goal, a little near-post header that was cleared off the line.
They didn't need that kind of luck, did they?
No,
really,
they haven't needed it because it's been so easy for them. But there are question marks over whether it went over the line.
About Villa, there was no protestations. It was very, very tight. I mean, we said it's not over the line. Yet there wasn't one Aston Villa player who actually protested to the ref. And I think it was almost, we were saying, amongst stuff, it's like they're not even interested. They don't care. Yeah, I mean, it's been the ease in which they've won this game, Man City. Aston Villa set up as a 4-5-1 to make life difficult. Believe you me, this game, it has been anything but.
At times, Man City players have just walked through their defence. Yeah. In particular, David Silva, who's been absolutely excellent again today.
And what about Spurs? 1-0 up. It's by no means 3 points in the bag, is it? Because Newcastle are playing a bit of kind of rough and tumble with them.
Well, it's not, because they've only got 10 men as well. Kabul's obviously been sent off. They probably deserve to be in front, Spurs. They've just edged the game. Aaron Lennon scored a terrific goal. Excellent strike into the bottom corner. But, obviously with 10 men and not, 20 minutes to go, then Newcastle's still got a chance.
Not really created a lot, Newcastle.
Joey Barton and Alan Smith in midfield, it's surprising.
Yeah, damage limitation for Newcastle. They went there to make life difficult, to get the draw. Now they've got to chase the game.
They've missed Kevin Nolan, definitely. Those runs from midfield. Someone to come and join Andy Carroll, get round him.
OK, thanks for the moment, guys. Well, QPR beat Coventry at the Ricoh Arena at lunchtime to go 4 points clear at the top of the Championship. So how did the chasing pack respond? Well, so far, not well in the case of Cardiff. Let's go to Vicarage Road and Mark Bishop can tell you more.
Not at all well, Gabby. Watford 3, Cardiff City 1. A hand of the Baskervilles type swirling mist blowing around Vicarage Road. It's Watford, though, who've proved the Sherlock Holmes of the two, discovering how to unlock Cardiff's back four. They've been all over the place in the second half. Goals from Danny Graham, Marvin Sordell, skipper John Eustace. It's made it the perfect comeback for Malky Mackay's side. All this after Cardiff had taken the lead through Peter Whittingham. Watford had missed a spot kick before that Cardiff goal. Good save from Marshall on Graham. Watford about to stretch their unbeaten run to 5, and it'll be 3 wins on the bounce. Watford 3, Cardiff City 1.
Southampton beating Huddersfield 4-1 at the moment. Huddersfield, the only side, well, obviously there were 2 of them in League One. They played against Hartlepool on Boxing Day, and perhaps it's taken it out of them because at the moment they're being annihilated by Southampton at St Mary's. Let's go to Elland Road. Andrew James leads Portsmouth, and leads at the moment taking 3 points.
Yes, they're looking very good as well, Gabby. They lead by 3 goals to 2. Speaking as a child of the 60s and not born in Yorkshire, there were people that felt that the Leeds side of those 60s and 70s, your dad might not have said this, weren't always that popular. But that's not the case with this particular Leeds United. They're doing really, really well in front of 31,500 fans. They took the lead through Gradle and Howson, and although David Nugent pulled one back, they got to 3-1 through Bradley Johnson early in the second half. Richard Hughes pulled one back for Pompey, although it took a huge deflection off Andy O'Brien. It's been credited as an own goal to him. Pompey are doing well. They've won the last 2 away, and they're still very much in it now. But Leeds, in front of those 31,000 fans, look to be heading for second spot, Gabby. It's Leeds through 3, Pompey 2.
One of those teams chasing them, Swansea, were thumped on Boxing Day against QPR. Responded well today, though, at the Liberty Stadium. Tony Colliver can tell you more.
Yes, they have still. Swansea 1, Barnsley 0. They still lead through Germain Easter's first half strike after great work from Nathan Dyer. Easter then saw a header rebound off of the crossbar. Barnsley, though, have struggled in the first half, but certainly then have since perked up. The best chances both falling through to Goran Louvre. First one, he blazed over from a great position, and then he had a diving header, which was palmed away by the Swansea keeper, Doris de Vries. Still Swansea 1, Barnsley 0.
A rare thing about to happen at Carrow Road, potentially. Tony Lockwood, a Sheffield United win.
Well, it's 2-2. It's been a lively encounter. There's been 4 goals and there's been plenty of talking points along the way. Andy Reid's 20-yard free kick dispatched into the top corner. Manager of Sheffield United had the lead. Michael Nelson provided the perfect response with Norwich's headed equaliser, only for Richard Cresswell to re-establish the Blades' lead on his return from suspension. It was a really sharp finish. The home side levelled in the second half. Nick Montgomery penalised for a challenge on Grant Holt. United's furious protests in vain. Wes Hoolahan, who'd started on the bench, sent the keeper the wrong way to tie it up at 2-2.
Tony, sorry, I completely forgot about that Norwich equaliser. How could I? Let's go to the KC Stadium now. Hull, Reading, Naz Premji's watching.
Yeah, Hull City 1, Reading 0. James Harper, the Reading old boy, proving the villain of the piece for the visitors. They had a glorious opportunity to level things up here. Paul McShane fouling Shane Long in the box. Referee pointed to the spot. Long with an awful penalty, which Arsenal loanee Vito Manone saved with consummate ease. It's been all Hull, really, and they deserve to hang on, and hang on is what they're doing. It's Hull 1, Reading 0.
Naz, thank you. Let's go to White Hart Lane. David Garrido for a goal.
Where Spurs have scored a second. Guess who? Gareth Bale. But it came as a result of Andy Carroll down the other end of the pitch, just trying to fight for possession. Got robbed of it by Luka Modric, who broke over the halfway line, fed Bale, and then you knew that it was going to be very, very difficult for him to be stopped. Cutting inside and out, left foot shot, very similar to the 3 that he scored in the San Siro against Inter Milan. If you can picture that, you know exactly what this goal looks like. It's Spurs 2, Newcastle 0.
His 11th goal in all competitions, and he very rarely scores an average one, does he?
He's just unbelievable. And Spurs, the way they go from defence to attack so quickly, it's just outstanding. And Gareth Bale, Aaron Lennon on either wing, Modric in midfield, they just get from that side of the pitch to the opposite end of the pitch so quickly, don't they?
That 10 men almost lull the opposition into going forward, and that's what Spurs love that, because they can then counter-attack with that sort of pace. He's just done...
Down to 10 men in their last match as well. It doesn't seem to bother them at all, does it?
Stephen Taylor all ends up, just feints to go inside, goes outside, and the angle we see then, he hits the shot. It's got about that much, so he's got just a ball width to go into the corner. A fantastic unerring strike again from Bale.
You'll
Brilliant.
have to wait until tomorrow night, match of the day, to see it, though. As you will, the goals that have been flying in at the Hawthorns this afternoon. Ivan Gaskell.
Yes, and at this time of year, you're always looking for the pantomime villain. I think we've heard about 1 or 2 around the country today, and without a doubt, El Hadj Diouf fits the bill perfectly. He will be top of the bill in the West Brom Hippodrome, if one such theatre existed, because he really has wound up the West Brom fans and players all afternoon. Mind you, he has history there, doesn't he? He's just been taken off, I think, for his own good. He just got a yellow card. He was threatening to go over the top, and really Blackburn can't afford to lose another. Kalinic already dismissed, but Blackburn really should see this one out now. Try as West Brom might, they've just hit the bar. Sharna's header, though I'm not sure he knew much about it. As I speak, Bunn, the half-time sub-keeper, watches another one drift by the post. It looks like West Brom are going to really slip up badly here. They are trailing 3-1.
Just tell you that Andy Carroll has been booked as well for a heavy challenge on Aurelio Gomez, the Spurs keeper. He's picked up a yellow for that. Let's go to Deepdale now. James Mason's there for us, and Tony Mowbray could end the year with a big smile.
He could too. His side lead 3-1 at the moment, Gabby, and they've been well worth it. A cracking game in which Middlesbrough, having lost their last 3 away from home, looks set for all 3 points, as you say. A superb double from Leroy Lita and a crucial third from the head of David Wheater have put the visitors in a strong position. Billy Jones, his early header for Preston, seems a distant memory as the game sort of goes a bit flat now. The points seem to be destined to be going to the north-east, and North End look like they're going to be sat on the bottom of the Championship. There's about 10 minutes to go. It's Preston 1, Middlesbrough 3.
James, thank you very much. Let's go to Turf Moor. Burnley finally got their first away win of the season on Boxing Day, and then they've come home, Richard Askham, and lose to opposition at the moment, losing to opposition that they would expect to get 3 points from.
They certainly would have expected to get 3 points before the start of play, Gabby. It's really frustrating for Burnley here. The groans from the terraces are getting louder. There's just a chance that Clark Carlisle nodded wide of the post there from a corner. It's been that sort of story for Burnley. They have picked up the tempo this half, but without cutting through, really. Chris Eagles on at half-time. He's provided a real injection of pace and shooting power for the Clarets, but Scunthorpe is showing real grit and determination to hang on to their lead, a lead carved out by an accurate finish from Martin Wolford, and they haven't looked like a side who've lost 5 in a row, and they still lead by that single goal.
Let's go to Carrow Road. A penalty for Norwich. Tony Lockwood.
Dramatic conclusion, Gabby. It is the defender, Carl Bartley, who's handled a second penalty for Norwich, a second penalty for Wes Hoolahan, who started this game on the bench, steps up, left foot, scores. Some comeback by Norwich. They lead Sheffield United by 3 goals to 2.
Exactly the same thing happened to them on Boxing Day, 2 apiece, ended up losing 3-2 Sheffield United. Let's go to Ashton Gate. Hamish Marshall, how are Palace holding up?
They are holding on, and the form book's really been turned upside down as Palace are on course to end a 5-match losing run on their travels. Any latecomers would have missed what's been the key moment so far, a 25-yard free kick from Neil Dans, which soared past David James. Dans and Canago have gone close to securing the points, but they haven't quite managed to do it. Bristol City's best effort, a header which came off the woodwork. We've got, 7 minutes to go. Bristol City 0, Crystal Palace 1.
A great win on the cards for Southampton at St Mary's. Andy Barwell.
Yes, it's 4-1 to Southampton now. Talented £10 million rated teenage winger Alex Chamberlain's been attracting attention. The transfer window set to open next month. Damien Comolli, a member of the Liverpool hierarchy, is here to watch today. He will have been impressed, and that valuation won't have gone down because Chamberlain scored one, a neat finish as well, and he also won a free kick from which Adam Lallana set up Raidi Jaidi for Southampton's third. Richard Chaplow's got a fourth with a left foot shot, but it had needed Ricky Lambert to viciously fire home to cancel out Lee Novak's opener for Huddersfield. Lee Clark's side have been largely on the back foot in the second half. Top scorer Jordan Rhodes is only on the bench this afternoon. Southampton 4, Huddersfield 1.
To Vicarage Road, a penalty. Mark Bishop, who's it to?
It's going to be to Watford, Gabby. It's 3-1, by the way, and it's going to be Danny Graham who will take it. The player who missed the penalty right in the first 6 minutes. But Graham walks up now, steps up, slides it in, bottom right-hand corner. And it's going to be an emphatic 4-1 victory to Watford. The comeback is complete. All this after Cardiff had taken a lead through Peter Whittingham. But Watford have roared back, and they've really taken Cardiff to pieces in the second half. It's going to be 3 consecutive wins for Malky Mackay's side. They lead by 4 goals to 1.
And Reading's prayers have been answered. Simon Church has got the equaliser. Naz Premji.
They certainly have. Hull City 1, Reading 1. They've not lost on their travels here in 30 years, and that record's still intact. Ian Hart with a free kick. It was swung in. Vito Manone came and scuppered, and Simon Church turned in from a couple of yards out. Hull City 1, Reading 1.
And if you're wondering where your kitchen sink is, it's being thrown at Blackpool right now at the Stadium of Light, Steve Sutton.
It's been thrown at them, and I think Blackpool have parked Santa's sledge across their goal. It's leading a charmed life right at the moment. Sunderland have a free kick about 25 yards out just at the moment, but just before that, Darren Bent with only Kingston to beat. He lashed the ball goalwards, and Kingston threw himself, and Sunderland have just hit the crossbar. The free kick, Darren Bent, beautiful kick over the wall, hit the crossbar, keeper beaten. What does Sunderland have to do to score? They better ask Ian Holloway, because his side scored. DJ Campbell soon after the restart for the second half, and Blackpool still lead by 1-0.
Another one bites the dust at the Hawthorns, Ivan Gaskell.
Yes, it's levelled things up though. West Brom now down to 10 men to level up the fact that Kalinic was dismissed earlier on. This time an equally correct decision in my view. Gabriel Tamas with a very late, very reckless challenge that poleaxed Mama Biram Diouf when he had turned him and he was going clear on goal, though a long way out. I don't think it denied him a goal-scoring opportunity, but it was a dangerous, rash tackle, and I think that's why he got the straight red. So it's level in terms of players, but Blackburn look like they're pretty much home and dry with the minutes ticking away. 2 of normal time left. They lead 3-1.
Some interesting things happening this afternoon. Who'd have predicted that scoreline? And such obviously a fractious game, 2 men down.
Yeah, I mean, the Kalinic sending off is a really horrific tackle. It's knee-high on Paul Sharner. and it's a bad one. He deservedly got the red card, and then this one again, which has evened it up, clean through on goal, a clear goal-scoring opportunity, so he had to go as well. But some interesting games. Sunderland, I mean, how they're not level against Blackpool.
Because this is a very different force and a different lineup to the side who played Manchester United, looking more like Sunderland in one respect.
Yeah, Bent, Gian, Welbeck up front. I mean, they have thrown everything at Blackpool. Blackpool obviously have played their part as well. They've had their own chances. But the free kick by Darren Bent there is so unlucky. He hits the crossbar, it comes back, hits the goalkeeper, but goes to safety. And they've done everything but score today.
OK, let's go to Turf Moor. Richard Askham there for a goal.
Yes, hi, Gabby. It's a second goal for Scunthorpe. The boos are ringing round Turf Moor. Chris Dagnall with an accurate side-foot finish after great work from Martin Wolford, who got the first goal for Scunthorpe. There's real unrest on the home terraces here. They're not happy. Scunthorpe, though, are delighted, and they lead by 2-0.
And in League One at the MK Stadium, a goal from Mayor Banji to tell us about.
Yeah, and it's gone to the MK Dons, and it's Kono Dumbe, a breakaway from a Bournemouth attack. Bournemouth have been chucking the kitchen sink at MK Dons for a long while, but Kono Dumbe should have given them the 3 points. They lead by 2-0 now.
Let's go to the Britannia Stadium. Damien Johnson, that early Fulham lead, amazingly has survived. Stoke not coming back with anything at the moment.
No, not really. They've had most of the ball, most of the pressure, but they've only fashioned half chances, really. The one significant moment in the second half, a save from Schwarzer to deny Huth. Other than that, Fulham look fairly casual at the moment. We're in injury time, 3 minutes of that to play, and Fulham on course for their first away win in 27.
City of Manchester Stadium now in a few moments' time, Steve Lee. Huge cheers are going to ring round that place, aren't they? Because Man City will be top of the Premier League.
Yes, they will. It's been a training exercise for City in this second half. They got the fourth goal through Balotelli from the penalty spot. That's his hat-trick. But really, Villa have offered very little. And we've had some gallows humour from their fans who've been cheering corners like it's a goal. And you wonder what the famous Villa players of the past would have made of this performance today. They've been abject. Man City 4, Villa 0.
In League One there, Charlie Austin has equalised. Swindon 1, Peterborough 1. That's Charlie's 15th goal in all competitions so far this season. Leeds at Elland Road. These must be a nervous few last minutes there, Andrew James. They blew a 2-goal lead at the Walker Stadium on Boxing Day. Are they looking good for 3 points?
Well, they're having to hang on, and they've got Kasper Schmeichel to thank for one particularly great save just a few moments ago, Gabby. It's becoming clear if they are to progress towards the Premier League, they're going to have to invest in defenders, because, as you say, they score goals, but they give them away. But at the moment, they're still hanging on, approaching injury time. Still, Leeds 3, Portsmouth 2.
And Tony Colliver at the Liberty Stadium. Are Swansea hanging on for their 3 points?
Well, it's pretty much even Stevens in terms of chances as we approach the last seconds of this game. Swansea still leading through Jermaine Easter's goal. Barnsley have shown some great fighting spirit. Good chances from Louvre, Hayes and Hamill. All have been missed. Had they shown that fighting spirit in the first half, we could have seen a different story. It's still Swansea 1, Barnsley 0.
Full-time whistle has gone at the Britannia Stadium. Damien Johnson is there. There's some real argy-bargy, some really nasty scenes there between Toli Pulis. Well, not so much physical stuff, but it looks like a fallout there with Mark Hughes.
Yes, I just looked up to see him marching away, so I didn't see that incident, Gabby, but it's been pretty bad-tempered all afternoon here. The story of the game, well, it's a first away win in 27 for Fulham, and it came courtesy of 2 long-range goals from Chris Baird to ease the pressure on their under-fire manager, Mark Hughes. The first went in off the post, the second tapped to Baird and drilled low past Begovic. It was all Stoke in the second half, but Fulham stood up manfully. Hangeland and Hughes were immense. The only real chance fell to Huth, well saved by Schwarzer. And finally, a win on the road for Fulham.
Thank you, Damien. A goal at the Stadium of Light. Steve Sutton, is it an equaliser?
It isn't. It's all over. It's Sunderland 0, Blackpool 2. I'm saying it's all over. It is bar the shouting. Sunderland just kicking off from the restart. A great cross from the right. DJ Campbell ghosting in behind the Sunderland defence. All he had to do was force the ball over the line. He did so into the roof of the net. 2 for him, 2 for Blackpool. Sunderland 0, Blackpool 2.
Let's go to the City of Manchester Stadium. Top of the table, but of course Manchester United kick off this evening against Birmingham City at St Andrews, which is a game not just of significance to the top, but the way things are now, Birmingham have slipped into the bottom 3 because of Fulham's win and various other results.
It's great that, isn't it, on the big screen there where they show themselves top of the table, Man City. I mean, it's a huge result for them. They've had a great Christmas, so...
There's a goal at Elland Road. Let's go, Andrew James.
Well, Gabby, it's incredibly an equalising goal for Portsmouth. and it's a comedy of errors, they won't be laughing at it, between Kasper Schmeichel and Andy O'Brien as the ball comes in from the right-hand side by Chifchi, the substitute. O'Brien and Schmeichel both go for it, and before Kanu, the substitute, can get it, it's already over the line. It's Andy O'Brien's second own goal of the game, and Portsmouth deservedly have got something from the match. It's Leeds 3, Portsmouth 3.
Incredibly, that puts Leeds from second down to fourth in the Championship.
Spurs counter-attack brilliantly. In between, Yunus Kabul got himself needlessly sent off. The use of the head on Sheikh Tiote, that brought the tension of the afternoon to boiling point. Joey Barton and Alan Smith had gotten a few scrapes too. For Newcastle, Andy Carroll had two dangerous headers, one onto the roof of the net, one parried by Aurelio Gomez, and Peter Löwenkrantz hooked volley went agonisingly wide, but that is as close as the Magpies got. Maybe now Alan Pardew can sense the size of the task ahead, whereas Harry Redknapp's side are fourth, above Chelsea for a day at least. 10-man Tottenham 2, Newcastle 0.
Thank you very much, David.
Kalinic, what would have been his hat-trick, and then flapping and failing to deal with a Diouf cross, which another Diouf, MB Diouf, slid in and scored. Game rather spoiled at the end stats-wise. Kalinic was then dismissed for an awful tackle on Shana. Tamas for a late and reckless challenge on Diouf. But it finished Blackburn's way, and Keane off at last the winning mark that he needed. West Brom 1, Blackburn 3.
Let's go to the Stadium of Light, because Blackpool have done what Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United couldn't do so far this season, Steve Sutton.
Yes, they have. They've beaten Sunderland. Sunderland don't lose at the Stadium of the Light. Well, they do when Blackpool roll into town. DJ Campbell, the architect of Blackpool's famous win here. 2 goals at either end of the second half. Both opportunist strikers' goals. He emerged through a sea of players early on in the second half to prod home the first end. Right at the end, again, in behind the defence, banging it into the top of the net. Sunderland had thrown everything at Blackpool, but Blackpool simply wouldn't crack. Sunderland 0, Blackpool 2.
Well, you can see there, Brett Pitman has got a last-minute equaliser for Bristol City. Hamish Marshall at Ashton Gate. Is it all over yet?
The referee's whistle has just gone. Bristol City 1, Crystal Palace 1. The equaliser from substitute Brett Pitman. He converted from the penalty spot in the 5th minute of stoppage time after Crystal Palace keeper Julian Speroni fouled Danny Rose. Palace had led since the 2nd minute. Neil Dan's free kick looked like they were getting their first away win since October. It wasn't to be. It finished Crystal Palace 1, Bristol City 1.
To the Liberty Stadium, it's all over there. Tony Colliver.
Yes, 1-0 it finished here. Swansea's 7th home league winner this season as a result of Jermaine Easter's first half strike. Barnsley did have opportunities, mainly in the second half. All was squandered. It's finished Swansea 1, Barnsley 0.
Let's go to Vicarage Road. Mark Bishop, is it over there yet?
It's all over, Gabby. Watford 4, Cardiff City 1. Dave Jones's High Flyers torn to pieces in the second half. A rampant Watford. They made it 3 consecutive victories. Magnificent comeback, and all this after Whittingham had given Cardiff the lead. Watford levelled the scores through Danny Graham, and then after the break they blew Cardiff away. Sordell, Eustace, and then a fourth from the penalty spot, a brace for Graham. 3 more points for Watford. They've won by 4 goals to 1.
Norwich have done one better than that. They've come from behind and they're winning 4-2. Is it all over yet, Tony Lockwood? Or more goals to
Whistle
come?
has just blown, Gabby. Extraordinary conclusion. Late on, Stephen Quinn was sent off after a flare-up involving most of the players out there. And then Wes Hoolahan, as Norwich broke away deep in stoppage time, scored his hat-trick. Hoolahan, of course, started the match on that Norwich sub-bench. Sheffield United had twice left. Now they've lost successive games over Christmas. Cruel on them. Hoolahan the hero. 4-2 Norwich win.
Let's go to Elland Road, where Leeds will definitely see it as 2 points a loss, not 1 point gained, Andrew James.
Yes, it's finished 3-3, and the fans, 31,000 of them, chanting, "You're not fit to referee." But to be fair to the referee, Mr. Webb, they've only got themselves to blame. Leeds. 2 own goals from Andy O'Brien, the man on loan from Bolton Wanderers, have really cost them dear. They were 3-1 up and coasting. The first own goal brought it back to 3-2, and then a mix-up between O'Brien and Schmeichel left it at 3-3. Leeds have work to do defensively, but they did well in attack. Well done, Pompey too. A great game. Great credit to both sides. Leeds 3, Portsmouth 3.
Andrew, thank you very much. Let's go to Deepdale. James Mason. Is Tony Mowbray going home with a big smile on his face?
He certainly is. It's ended
Richard
Preston 1, Middlesbrough 3. A fantastic game. Full marks to entertainment, but 2 goals by Leroy Leiter and a David Wheater header overturned a Billy Jones header. So win for Middlesbrough. Preston end a miserable year with defeat and sit marooned like an overworked sleigh at the bottom of the Championship. It ended Preston 1, Middlesbrough 3.
And to Turf Moor now. Richard Askham, a big win from the away side.
Yes, hi Gabby. Burnley 0, Scunthorpe 2. Chance of Laws out are just ringing around Turf Moor at the final whistle. A bruising defeat for Burnley, the home side. They had the odd chance, but overall were disjointed against a stubborn Scunthorpe side who took the lead through Martin Wolford and finished the game as a contest with a late second from Chris Dagnall. Burnley 0, Scunthorpe 2.
Let's get all today's classified results now with Tim Gudgin.
And in the Premier League, Birmingham City and Manchester United have an evening kick-off. Manchester City and 4-0 against Aston Villa. Stoke City 0, Fulham 2. Sunderland 0, Blackpool 2. Tottenham Hotspur 2, Newcastle United 0. West Bromwich Albion 1. Blackburn Rovers 3. And West Ham and Everton have an evening kick-off. In the N-Power Championship, Bristol City 1, Crystal Palace 1. Burnley 0, Scunthorpe United 2. Coventry City 0, Queen's Park Rangers 2. Doncaster Rovers and Ipswich Town match postponed. Hull City 1, Reading 1. Leeds United 3, Portsmouth 3. Millwall 2, Leicester City 0. Norwich City 4, Sheffield United 2. Preston North End 1, Middlesbrough 3. Swansea City 1, Barnsley 0. And Watford 4, Cardiff City 1. In League One, Brentford and Tranmere Rovers and Carlisle United, Exeter City, Colchester United, Oldham Athletic, Hartlepool United and Leyton Orient, all those matches postponed. Milton Keynes Dons 2, AFC Bournemouth 0. Plymouth Argyle 1, Notts County 1. And Rochdale against Bristol Rovers, Sheffield Wednesday against Yeovil Town, both matches postponed. Southampton 4, Huddersfield Town 1. Swindon Town 1, Peterborough United 1 is the latest score. They had a late kick-off. And Walsall's match with Dagenham and Redbridge postponed. In League 2, Barnet 1, Stockport County 3. Burton Albion Stevenage, Bury Torquay United, both matches postponed. Cheltenham Town 4, Bradford City 0. Chesterfield and Wycombe Wanderers, Crewe Alexandra and Southend United, both matches postponed. Gillingham 3, Port Vale 0. Hereford United against Northampton Town, Lincoln City and Shrewsbury Town, and Morecambe's match with Aldershot Town, all 3 postponed. Oxford United 2, Macclesfield Town 1. And Rotherham United's match with Accrington Stanley postponed. In the Blue Square Bet Premier, AFC Wimbledon 3, Eastbourne Borough 0. Altrincham and York City and Barrow and Wrexham, their matches postponed. Bath City 2, Forest Green Rovers 4. Cambridge United 1, Mansfield Town 5. Crawley Town and Hayes and Yeading United, match postponed. Fleetwood Town 2, Southport 0. Gateshead's match with Darlington, Grimsby Towns with Rushton and Diamonds, and Kettering Towns with Histon, all 3 postponed. Kidderminster 2, Newport County 3, and Luton Town and Tamworth match postponed.
Just one late kick-off to tell you about in League One. Still playing, it's Swindon 1, Peterborough United 1. Let's have a little look at the tables then. Manchester City are the new leaders for now, but they'll be displaced if their City rivals United win the evening game at Birmingham City. Arsenal visit Wigan tomorrow. Chelsea play Bolton and Tottenham are up to 4th. At the bottom 4 have all yet to play their latest round of fixtures. First up are West Ham, who host Everton in the 5:30 kick-off. Birmingham play tonight. Wolves and Wigan are in action tomorrow. To the Championship. Back-to-back festive wins for QPR have strengthened their grip at the top to 7 points now. The R's look set to emulate the last 5 New Year table toppers who've all gone on to clinch promotion to the Premier League. Cardiff stays second despite losing heavily at Watford. Swansea rise to third, Leeds down to fourth after again throwing away a 2-goal lead. At the bottom, Preston North End lose further ground at the foot of the table after their defeat at home to fellow strugglers Middlesbrough. Preston, of course, now bottom, so Palace slipped to 23rd after conceding an injury-time equaliser. Scunthorpe won for the first time in 6 games, but stay in the bottom 3. To League One, only 4 matches today due to the wintry weather. Leaders Brighton face promotion rivals Charlton tomorrow. Huddersfield were the highest-placed team in action. They lost at Southampton. At the bottom, no change of note in the bottom half. So few teams, of course, involved today. Informed Notts County move up another place following their draw at Plymouth. They stay 15th. To League Two, Port Vale missed their opportunity to move top after losing at improving Gillingham. They remain 2 points behind Chesterfield, who were not in action. Victory for Cheltenham sees them rise into the playoff places for the first time since October. And Barnet slumped to defeat at home to Stockport at the bottom. They stay in the relegation zone. They've played 3 more games than their nearest rivals. Lincoln, Hereford were not in action. Let's have a look at the Blue Square Premier table. AFC Wimbledon extend their advantage to 3 points at the top. Newport won at Kidderminster. They move into second. Crawley slipped to third after their home game was postponed. At the bottom, Southport were the only side in the relegation zone to play, although their survival hopes dealt a further blow. Defeat at Fleetwood for them today. And Forest Green are the big movers, up 4 places to 17th after a valuable win. Let's get the headlines from the Premier League today. It was Sunderland 0, Blackpool 2. Blackpool walking in a winter Sunderland after DJ Campbell scores twice, playing sweet music for them at the Stadium of Light. It's Sunderland's first home defeat of the season. Stoke 0, Fulham 2. Defender Chris Baird, Fulham's unlikely hero. 2 first-half goals for Mark Hughes' side. They move out the bottom 3. It's their first top-flight win at Stoke since 1967. And West Brom... Well, you can see Match of the Day tomorrow night, 10:35, and includes matches from tomorrow's games. Chelsea against Bolton, Wigan against Arsenal, Liverpool against Wolves. That's BBC One, 10:35. And there's a New Year's Day special for you. What better way to see in 2011 than to wake up with a cup of tea and watch Football Focus at 11:30. OK, let's head straight to the City of Manchester Stadium. Martin Fisher's been there for us. And Martin, you know, with the starting lineup for Manchester City today, you know, some doubts, some kind of, rumblings here in the studio of Pundits that, it was a big test for them to see whether they could survive a game without Tevez, their iconic talisman, and of course, Gareth Barry as well, and James Milner. But they certainly did more than that, didn't they?
Well, an emphatic victory, wasn't it, really? 4-0 to the good. They were 2 up inside 30 minutes here. Very similar to the Newcastle game in many respects. They were out the blocks very, very swiftly indeed. You have to throw into the equation the fact that Villa looked very, very ordinary, and that's being kind to them. At times, they were hapless in defence, and City just helped themselves to the gifts that were being offered to them. And Balotelli, if there's a more relaxed man taking a penalty, I've yet to meet him. He just waits and waits and waits until the goalkeeper moves his body the wrong way, and then he opens up his body and shoves it in the other corner. Very, very calm. One criticism, though, his celebrations are awful. He needs to celebrate a bit more.
Well, he apparently needs to cheer up a bit more. We're reading this morning and hearing rumblings of him not being happy living, particularly not just in England, but in Manchester. He doesn't like the weather. He's miserable. He's homesick. Any word on whether any of that has substance? Is he going to be off in January?
Well, there was certainly no suggestion of that downstairs earlier on. I think he's just one of these fellas that seems to walk around with a permanent sulk on and needs an arm around his shoulder. And Roberto Mancini is the man that brought him here. He certainly believes in him. Mourinho couldn't wait to get shot of him at Inter, but Mancini has that faith in Balotelli, and I think he's got the ability to bring the best out of him today. And obviously today, Carlos Tevez, the talisman here, the man that scored 12 Premier League goals already this season, you'd have forgotten that he wasn't playing because City was so good at times when they needed to be. David Silva was terrific, and in defence, Vincent Kompany was outstanding. I mean, he was terrific too. But if I was an Aston Villa fan, Gabby, I would be very, very concerned because this is 5 defeats in their last 6 games. It's a long time since they were relegated, 1987. But this Villa team really does look very ordinary indeed, and they need some additions in January, in my opinion.
Thank you very much, Martin. Martin mentioning the R word with Aston Villa there. I mean, they are tonight 15th in the table, just 2 points off the drop zone. and a performance today that would say they're really in a bit of trouble at the moment, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, for all what we say about Man City, you know, a lot of it was down to Aston Villa's inability to defend. As I said, they set themselves up in a 4-5-1, which, you know, it infers that you're going to be tough to beat and you're going to make life difficult for the opposition. Yet they were out of this game very, very early. And I think not just about the points, and not just about their recent results, but that performance today, more than anything, is an indication that, yes, they are in trouble if they don't turn things around.
Well, Man City top of the table tonight, and only Man City have a better away record than Blackpool, who today recorded a 2-0 win at the Stadium of Light. Manager Ian Holloway is talking to Steve Sutton.
Ian, you must be delighted with that.
Yeah, it's nice to get playing again, and you know, it's nice to carry on in the vein we finished a couple of weeks ago against Stoke. We've had a brilliant result there, managed to ride our luck a bit. Probably did the same again, a bit of a smash and grab affair, but. You know, I've said all along, I think once we get to the speed of this league, we've got people who will take the chances we'd managed to create. And DJ proved that today. He scored 2 out of 4. A lot of people would have dropped their head after the first 2 in the first half, but he's made them with a couple of brilliant bits of skill. And I said to him at half-time, keep going. And when he believes he's as good as I think he is, then we'll have a real player on our hands. But it's just great for the lads. They're a fantastic bunch. And I'm very, very, very proud of them.
You've achieved what a lot of the so-called big clubs haven't managed to achieve at the Stadium of Light because they don't lose here.
No, again, you know, hopefully this will continue. We don't want this bubble to burst, a bubble of enthusiasm and enjoyment, and can't wait to go to work. And, you know, I'm so proud of our fans. And, you know, they've had some wonderful days with this very famous club in the past, and now we're getting a few now. Hopefully we've all earned that, and long may it continue. But you know, you have to admire my lads' work rate. We haven't been able to train properly. They stick together. They don't get fazed by any sort of mistake. And you know, we made a couple of blinding errors there, and luckily it didn't go in. I don't know what we were doing, but you know, it didn't faze us, and we've carried on and nicked the second one, and you know, it's game over from there.
Blackpool now have only played 17. They're on 25 points. If you'd said that to Ian Holloway at the start of the season, he'd have bitten your arm off.
Absolutely. I mean, they are a terrific side to watch, so entertaining. They're willing to attack teams, particularly away from home. Today they've ridden their luck a little bit. You know, Sunderland threw everything at them and probably deserved something out of the game. But another terrific result for Ian Holloway and his men.
Well, Steve Keane, so far his record reads drawn 1, lost 1. Today he won 1. Ivan Gaskell's talking to the caretaker Blackburn manager.
Steve, you've had to hit the ground running, but you needed a win, of course. How welcome is that today?
It's very welcome. I think we played well, and you know, lots of spells in the game. We mentioned to the lads at half time to be very careful with the space that we're allowing them, you know, up the sides of the wide areas, and you know, they can put crosses in. So that was a disappointing goal to concede. But I think certainly when we went to losing a man, you know, we were very disciplined in our shape. We tried to be narrow in the midfield, and it was really, really good to get a win. And it was great for the travelling fans because I thought they were magnificent today.
There was a good long spell where West Brom did what they can do, which is play in front of you, but you had to hold firm at that point, and you did, to be fair.
Well, they're a very good footballing side, and you know, we mentioned that to the lads during the week. You know, I don't think they'll stray too much from their passing style, so you have to be very disciplined, because if you go and close down, then they can pick you off, and they're technically a good side, and they use the fullbacks well, and you know, they've got a good balance through midfield, so we knew it was going to be a tough test. So to get 3 points here in the manner we did was excellent.
It is a great 3 points for them because, you know, ahead of this, you're both concerned for both him and Blackburn Rovers, all kinds of instability off the pitch and not particularly great on it. Has this kind of turned your mind slightly as to their prospects now?
Well, there was, I mean, yeah, there was a little bit of the old Blackburn in that performance as well, especially the last couple of goals. One was from a corner, as we saw, headed at the back post from Pedersen and nudged in from Kalinic. And there was... They got a good start. I thought that was massively important this game. They scored early, got a foothold in the game, and really from then on they got pegged back, but then showed a little bit extra, another gear to go up again. And in Kalinic, I think they've got a player who will get you goals at this level. There's no doubt about that.
Although he's now missing, isn't he? Got sent off today. A really horrific tackle from him, knee high. West Brom, you fear for a little bit as well now. That's 7 defeats in their last 10 league games.
The Midlands clubs. We've just saying you've got Birmingham, who are absolutely dropped into the bottom 3. Aston Villa and West Brom on terrible runs, and Wolves bottom of the league. I mean, the 4 clubs there will be, be very, very concerned.
OK, thanks for the moment, guys. Harry Redknapp's Spurs down to 10 men, but another win today against Newcastle United at White Hart Lane. The Spurs manager's talking to David Garrido.
Well, Harry, for the second time in as many matches, 1 sending off, 2 goals, but you've emerged with 3 points. You must be absolutely delighted with the fighting qualities of your side.
Yeah, we showed great character again. It's always handy when you've got that 1 goal advantage, even if you go down to 10 minutes, at least it gives you something to hang on to. But we still kept playing and kept going forward. We didn't sit back and, you know, we were still positive and got the second goal with 10 men. It was good to have a clean sheet today. You know, we've not had too many clean sheets. We're an open team that attack at every opportunity, and we find it difficult to keep clean sheets this year. We've done it in the past, but not this season. But so that was nice as well. It was a good performance. It was a difficult game. The first half was scrappy, and it probably went the way Newcastle wanted it to go a little bit today. They were determined to come in and not lay down and get beat. Obviously, that's what they're supposed to do. They filled up midfield, had an extra man in there, and we had to be patient. In the end, we got round the back of them twice in wide positions. That's how the 2 goals came.
And both of them great goals and an example of what Spurs do really, really well, which is just get away from trouble very quickly and cause problems at the other end.
Yeah, they break from defence to attack so quickly. And they've got real pace out wide. Bale and Lennon, the 2 goal scorers today, were fantastic. I mean, Lennon's strike was a good one to the bottom corner. And Gareth Bale, I mean, he's just been a revelation this season. Some of the goals he's scored have been incredible. But his finish as well, right into the bottom. Both of them, weren't they? Right, both perfect strikes in the bottom corner.
Perfect example of why they've got such a good home record is they make the pitch big. They have 2 outstanding wide players who will give them the width, and get in behind.
And first clean sheet since the start of the season.
First clean sheet, and they get in behind teams, and that's exactly how you break them down when you're at home.
And Lennon had a really quiet start to the season. Van der Vaart was playing on that right-hand side. He couldn't get into the team. Last month or so, he's been in terrific form. Van der Vaart in behind the striker. It's a good recipe.
OK, it was a lunchtime kick-off at the Ricoh Arena today. QPR, the visitors, they were 4 points clear at the top of the table at the start of the day. And, well, really, it was Coventry who were unfortunate not to be ahead at half-time. QPR took the lead 4 minutes after the break. On-loan defender Kyle Walker broke down the right, blasted a powerful cross shot that flew in off goalkeeper Kieran Westwood. Clearly, Walker's off target there, and Westwood won't want to see that replay, really, again, will he, after being credited with an own goal. And it was 2-0 just after the hour mark. Playmaker Adel Tarabt, who's on fine form at the moment, struck a delightful cross with the outside of his foot. Tommy Smith headed it in to the bottom corner. And Nigel Adderley caught up with both the managers after the match. Let's hear from QPR's Neil Warnock and Eddie Boothroyd. Commentary.
People talk about some individuals you have, the likes of Tarabt and Walker, but as you say, team performances must give you real satisfaction.
Well, I think Gorks and Connolly today, against the threat of King and Platt, I thought they were exceptional today. Fullbacks got the plaudits as well, but I felt in every department we did well. We knew it was going to be hard. There were nowhere to hide today from us. I thought everyone stood up and counted, and it's from my point of view, a great team performance.
We're disappointed with the goals we've conceded. But having said that, like you say, we were well on top in the first half, and you've got to take your chances against a team of QPR's quality. They're not at the top by fluke. They're a good side. We aspire to be where they are, and if you do that, you've got to defend as well as they did. And for long periods of the game, they were resolute at the back, and we made some daft mistakes.
Everybody knows that there's going to be 6 or 7 teams can get automatic promotion, and nobody's going to run away with it. We're great to have the points on board. Today was halfway stage. We're downhill now, and I'm glad about that because it seems to be a long season so far. But we're looking to do as much as we can really, and each game as it comes.
That's before he knew, of course, that Cardiff were going to go on and lose and Leeds were only going to manage a draw. And the team top of the second tier, confirm this again for you, going into January has won promotion to the Premier League in all but 2 of the last 19 years. Would you bet against QPR at this stage? No, not at the moment. I mean, they've got the best defensive record in that division. They look difficult to beat. He's brought players in that he knows well, Paddy Kenny, Sean Derry, Clint Hill, and they've got quality. They've got Adel Tarabt up front who on his day can rip a defence apart. And Jamie Mackie is a player I really like on the right-hand side who gets goals as well. So at the moment, QPR look really strong.
Plenty of depth, plenty of options, absolutely no reason why, with the manager in place like they've got, they won't see this through.
OK, of course, Fulham went into this afternoon's match at the Britannia Stadium in the bottom 3, didn't they? And they were really looking like it was going to be a struggle for the next few months or so. You were very worried ahead of the match for them, but this performance, this result today, seemingly out of nowhere.
And a great start again. He talks about good starts to games, and he scored 2 goals inside 10 minutes. Chris Baird's 2 terrific strikes. I mean, the first one half volley. Let's hear from him.
He's talking to Damien Johnson.
Chris, very well done. Tell us about the 2 goals.
I'm delighted with them. My first goals for Fulham. The first one,
I couldn't have hit it any better. I've just watched it on the replay there on the computer, and the second one I knew I was going to take right from the start as soon as we got the free kick. And thankfully it went in for me. I was just going to smash it as hard as I can and hope for the best, and I'm just delighted to get 2 goals.
Was it a training ground routine? You were always on free kicks that side?
Not really, but I've had a few obviously in training before, and there's been a few that's gone in and that, so I just knew that when I got the first goal I was going to take this one and hope for the best, and thankfully it went in for me.
Second half, it was all hands to the pump. You're really under the cosh, but the defence really stood up well.
We did, yeah. It's been a tough time for us of late. We've not kept many clean sheets of, like I say, the past few games, but delight, especially coming here to Stoke now, you're always going to be under a lot of pressure. They're a good team. I thought we dealt with it unbelievably well, and I'm just glad to get a clean sheet and 3 points.
Having slipped into the bottom 3, did you come here feeling the pressure?
I think we all do. At some stage, when you drop into the bottom 3, it's not nice. But thankfully, like today, we got the 3 points, and hopefully we'll lift it out of the bottom 3, and we can get a good run together and stay away from there.
How do you see the rest of the Christmas programme? Another London derby coming up.
Yeah, tough. Spurs, obviously, they're flying high at the minute, but we'll take confidence from this game going into that one, and we'll see what happens.
Not out of the woods, but a welcome win.
Oh, huge win. I mean, they have had real injury problems, there's no doubt about that, particularly up front. Zamora missing has been a big problem for them.
Did well today.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he had a couple of chances himself, didn't he? He just needs a goal, Andy Johnson. You know, it's a long time he's been out. A goal would really help him. I was fearful before this game, but that's a huge win against Stoke. I thought the physical side of Fulham isn't good enough, but going to Stoke and winning 2-0 is a terrific result.
Took the game, won the game early, and then really did negate that Stoke threat. Now, you know, Stoke put a lot of ball into the box, but ran out of ideas very, very quickly in this game, funny enough, and they were comfortable all afternoon.
And by default now, Birmingham City in the bottom 3. Yeah. You're saying you worry for the Midlands clubs and worry that their next game is against Manchester United in a few hours' time.
Yeah, what a game they've got. I mean, very good at the back, but don't score enough goals themselves. You know, Zigic hasn't really performed since coming into the team.
Don't lose these games, Matt, do they?
No,
the top sides, they don't get beat at home by the top sides. You know, what are perceived as the top 4. They've got a great record, but
very difficult to beat.
You feel that Man United just about starting to hit form.
Steve, Matt, stay with me. You can have your say on 606 on Radio 5 Live. Call them or text them 85058. That's it from us. We're going over to the red button. Stay with us because I think you'll want to hear from Tony Pulis and Mark Hughes. A little bit of friction there. See you soon.